this Wizards of the Coast employee, being a typesetter, there were some concerns about whether this person could have made the cards themselves. Now, I know the skeptics out there are always really concerned about this, about, what happens if an employee makes something themselves. And I can understand why they'd be concerned about that, but I can alleviate some of those concerns here by explaining a little bit about the process. It's pretty difficult for most Wizards of the Coast employees to just make something. Now, the reason for that is that Wizards of the Coast doesn't print their own product. So they design this stuff. They didn't actually design Pokemon cards exactly because it was a pre-existing game. They translated it more or less. But they designed the new card frame. They designed the card back. They did have some design work involved here. Wizards of the Coast does the pre-press work. And then they hire a print facility to print the cards. They actually work with multiple print facilities, depending on where the product is going to reduce shipping and warehousing costs, things like that. It gets kind of complex, to be honest. But the short version is that Wizards of the Coast does the work on the computers, and some other place, somewhere else, actually prints the cards. And so the Wizards of the Coast employees, they can't really print a real-looking card because they don't have the print facility. And the print facility, they can't just make stuff either because they don't have the digital files, the ability to create the item. And without both halves, you can't have a real-looking item. And that's why counterfeits have been relatively easy to detect for so long. They don't have both pieces. Usually they don't even have one of the pieces. Okay, so a print facility, they can print more copies of regular cards. If they already have the print files, the print plates, they can spit those out, and they're going to look like regular cards. Even if they did it after hours, or, put them in their pocket and took them home, and somehow they got out of the print facility, they're going to be regular cards. They're going to be what Wizards of the Coast provided to them to print. Now, sometimes these print facilities do make special things like test prints, things like that. Wizards of the Coast, again, provides the materials to do that. And then the print facility makes the test and supplies the results of the test back to Wizards of the Coast for review. Maybe something from those tests could escape the print facility. It's not supposed to, but sure, that could happen. But that's not something that's created by the print facility workers. It's something that's created by Wizards of the Coast. The print facility can't just make this stuff without Wizards of the Coast. They need the digital files, or the print films, the color separations, the printing plates. They got to have all that. So, on the other end, back to Wizards of the Coast, most of the employees of Wizards of the Coast don't create things. Everyone has their own job that they do, that they work on. And most of the people aren't working in laying out the cards. They have other jobs like playtesting or just regular office work, customer service. There's tons of things to do at Wizards of the Coast. But there are a few people that do actually make the cards, layout, etc., and they're the typesetters. And so if anyone has the ability to make a thing, it's going to be the typesetters, because they have access to that stuff. That's what they work with every day. Might as well get those back on screen for you, huh? Okay, so here's the thing. Even if the typesetters did want to make something just for fun, which is kind of frowned on, but, maybe it could happen over lunch or whatever, you know, they're playing around, they're humans. So even if the typesetters did make something special and unique just for themselves, they can't print it to look like a real card because they don't have access to the print facility, the card stock, the ink, all that stuff. That's somewhere else in the country, and it's very expensive to make a test print run. Most of the cost in printing is in the setup and cleanup. You know, a small print run is ridiculously expensive per card. You have to make a big print run to make it cost effective. That's a lot of money. They're not going to do that, and they can't really do that without their employer knowing about it. It just doesn't happen. So anything that's made for fun by an employee isn't going to have the same print quality as a real card. It will either look like something that's made on an office printer, you know, like maybe like you could make at home, or maybe better than that. Big offices have some pretty good printers, but they're not like an offset printing press that's industrial scale. It just doesn't compare. Another thing that the typesetter could potentially do is take it to a local print facility and print it there. Now that's going to be a small scale print shop, a local place. It's much better quality than you'll get from an office printer, I'll give it that, but it doesn't look like a real card either. And so you can tell the difference under magnification if you know what you're looking at. Okay, so the point of all of that is because I'm going to compare these under magnification to a few different items. And so there is an item or some items that exist that were made for fun by employees. I know it's super rare for anything like that to get out into the public. It's pretty unusual for it to even happen in the first place because, you know, you're not supposed to be playing around at work. But it does happen occasionally. And so I happen to have an example of something that was made by this particular employee that provided these. And he completely admits that, you know, this particular item I'm about to show you was just made for fun, and some of the employees played around with it, and some people that weren't employees, you know, they enjoyed this item. And here it is, right here. Let's see. Get it out of here. It's in a sleeve. Put my stamp away. All right. So that's a mini magic card. Put my binder away again. Okay, let's see. It's tiny. All right, so this was made with some official software, you could say. So the same computer stuff that makes real magic cards made this. It's essentially just a smaller scale magic card. Now, they couldn't have this printed at a real facility because this is just something they did for fun. So this is the kind of quality that you get when you're just making something for fun. This was made at a local print shop. Basically, the Wizards of the Coast employee made this and took it to a local print shop and said, here, this is a cool thing we want to play with. Make some of these. And they did. And so this is the kind of quality that you get when a employee makes something for fun. So we can compare that item to these. We can also compare real cards, of course, to those. And we can also compare items that were printed actually inside Wizards of the Coast, not at an external facility, but in the office. So take, for example, this thing that I just showed you. That's printed inside the Wizards of the Coast office. We can check this out under magnification and see what their printing looks like when they make something themselves, instead of sending it out to somewhere else. So that's one of the reasons I was a good choice for doing this. I just have access to all this kind of stuff. Now, that's not why I was sent that that printout from the company. I just showed it because it was conveniently laying there. I have some other ones.